everybody. So quick little update here. I got the diesel conversion on my 4x2 Gator completed. Been a little of a journey. That's a 10-horse single-cylinder diesel engine from eBay. It's a clone of a Yanmar L100. I believe it's the L186F. It's electric start and pull start. Conversion went pretty simple. The only modifications I had to do was extend the shift fork because the shift lever was banging on the side of the engine. So that was a simple piece of metal with 2 holes in it. I had to drill 2 holes in the bed of the Gator, well, the body of the Gator, underneath to mount the engine. I used the 2 factory holes in the front. So the factory holes from the Kawasaki engine line up left and right with this motor. And had to do the 2 in the rear, drill them, no big deal. I put a 1/2-inch pad of rubber, solid rubber, underneath the engine to isolate it for vibration and noise, because this was pretty loud. That's why I have all this foam in there. Dig this out of the way real quick so that you can see what's going on here a little better. We've got a 12-volt fuel pump that draws fuel out of the original tank. There's a return line off the injector that goes back to the tank, because the injector does have a return line that went to the original tank that came with the engine, but that's obviously not on here anymore. I've also got a 20 amp alternator down there, and that's hooked up with a pulley. I mounted the pulley by drilling out the center of the pulley with a step bit and put some washers in there. Basically, I matched the diameter of the washer to the hole. Well, all the way around. I matched the hole that I drilled to the diameter of the washer so that it would go in there and kind of center itself. And then I just put some extra washers and an extra long bolt through the clutch and into the crank. Like I said, this thing was very loud before I put the rubber on there. And I had a different muffler on it. I had like a generic rated up to 25 horsepower muffler. But it was very loud, shook the machine, shook your eardrums. It was no fun. But now it's very tame compared to what it was. The choke lever, the original choke on the Gator, controls the decompression lever on the top of the engine. And that is functional. It works. You need it in order to cold start it. The throttle cable comes down here, and I got this bracket that kind of supports the choke / decompression cable and the throttle cable. This is all just brackets from Lowe's, like, right angle brackets for, like, shelving, just stuff you'd find off the shelf in the hardware aisle. I have a piece of solid wire going down to the throttle linkage. Oh, I see my bolt is coming out here. Better get that tightened in. I'm gonna have to throw some Loctite on that. So take note, anybody who attempts this conversion themselves, Loctite anything that's not bolted down. So I got a universal throttle linkage kit at like AutoZone or something, and it came with these brass fittings where you could put cables through and then tighten them against each other from both sides. That's how I joined those together. It was quick and easy. I got the throttle cable in here, and it's adjusted with a new adjustment bolt under there. And let me get my shoe in there. Not a whole lot of travel, but again, that is actually the full range of travel. It don't take much to pull that little lever that's down on the block there. Another thing to note, this is the fuel shut-off solenoid. So you see that there's a wire here, and there actually is a key on pin underneath the dash on the ignition. So that's what powers that solenoid. So when the key is on, that solenoid is powered along with the fuel pump, and this is the shut-off solenoid for the injector pump. And basically that solenoid is commonly found on the generators that these motors are commonly found in. It wasn't too hard to do the replacement. You basically just take the old injector pump off with those 2 bolts or 2 nuts here, and then put the new one on there, bolt it all back together, tighten it up, and you're good to go. Fuel filter, pretty standard. Put all new fuel line in it when I plumbed the fuel system. The exhaust flange there on the side of the motor, I made that. I patterned that using like 3/16 plate steel, using the original factory muffler as a template. The exhaust pipe is actually 1.25" EMT conduit, and the flex coupler there is a 1.5" flex coupler. Found that on eBay, smallest size I could find. Then basically I just kind of put all the pieces for the exhaust in there, welded them in place, and it's working out good so far. On the back here is the muffler. This is the original muffler that came with the engine. I cut it obviously and fitted it on here using some bolts. I literally just welded those bolts to the frame and double nutted it on there to hold the muffler in place. So it's a pretty solid mount. Yeah, and I actually forgot to have the shielding gas on when I welded that. I had to raise the bed a little bit in order to get it clear. I used metal lumber. He says metal lumber in there. It's like a modular steel beam type thing, so you can build shelves, workbenches, that sort of stuff out of it. Used that to raise the bed up a few inches. I put the square tube in there, welded the factory ears onto the square tube, cut them off the original, Gator body first, and then welded them on. Reason being is the engine sticks up quite high. So, we're level with the decompression lever there, and you can see, looking through here at the bottom hole, you can see the engine in the background. So the engine sticks up quite high. So I had to raise the bed. It don't look too bad. Standing back here, you can hardly even tell. But yeah, 4x2 Gator diesel conversion using a 10 horsepower single cylinder diesel electric start. Works pretty good. I'm happy with it. Smokes quite a bit, as you saw, but hey, you get what you get. I don't know, maybe I can put some shims in the injector or something, or the injector pump, and see if I can tame that down a little bit. But I don't know, it kind of sounds like a Detroit when it's running. I like it. It's fun to drive. So I'll make some more videos about it as time goes on. I'm gonna do some tests to see how much weight it'll move and what we can tow with it and that kind of stuff. So look forward to that. Have a good one.
How dare you!